Alexander.
Oh, Shane, how are you?
As good as can be.
Good.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you kind of respond to what I have to say and my concerns via email. I'm just letting you know that I'm also making. I'm recording the call, and that's why I'm telling you this. I'm not recording it for the sake of getting your responses. I'm recording it and broadcasting it due to actually being in fear for my life, due to false accusations, and not in fear for my life from a paranoid state of mind or anything, stupid that they're going to try to accuse me of. It's just there's a complete bias here, and I know we had our conversation earlier, but I wasn't in a place to be able to kind of get my full capacity of details out there, and also to discuss strategy. If you are okay with providing answers over the phone, you're welcome to do that. I'm just letting you know that I'm recording this in advance for my own protection, and also so that, I get tired of going to court, and there's never any time to get the full capacity of what's taking place, and they'll lock me in a cell for 24 hours a day without a second thought. So it's kind of up to you if you want to answer these questions here and now, or if you just want to take the notes and then respond via email.
I'll respond via email.
All right. And will you be able to get me a response like before Friday?
Depends on the questions, but I guess then it's easier if you just email me your questions, and then I'll respond the best that I can to your email.
All right.
I guess that would just make it easier. Yeah.
All right. So, first thing first, Sabrina had stated that she was not going to, let me see here. Actually, not first things first. What is the number you had requested me to call for an update? That you had texted me this.
What number that is?
You texted me a 1-800 number you said, call this number for an update.
Yeah. It's access line for mental health services. Sabrina said that you were working with them and they needed some medical information or something.
Got it. All right. And I'm just, I'm not blaming you, Alexander, but to get that update again, like 2 days before, and I've got work tomorrow at 10:45, doesn't leave me much time to get it done, but I will call them first thing in the morning. I'm not sure what your strategy is. As of yet, I haven't seen much strategy. I'm not blaming you, but I was scheduled to go see Sabrina either before or after my last court date. And she said, don't worry about coming in, and I will be in contact for your next meeting. And she did not, has had zero communication with me since then, and that was December 13th. So it hasn't been a not wanting, it hasn't been not checking in. I still did 2 monthly visits last month. Actually I only did one because she canceled the second one and then didn't get back in touch with me until receiving this letter just today stating that I need to be at court on Friday, and they're requesting that I be revoked. And it was already a planned court date, and this is where I'm going to start to focus in on the manipulation of how they like to sway things just for matters of perception. This was a scheduled court date that we had made when she had not been present at any previous hearing. And the concern is how quickly they want to revoke my probation, but offer absolutely zero solution to anything that I have reported, which is why I have to record and broadcast this. It's not me wanting to be any anti-government person or not abide by the conditions, but I've got parole on the other side. I've been requesting a letter for more than 6 months, and Agent Tabuen stated that he would be getting me that letter stating that I needed no further mental health services from them. And you're not even supposed to see more than one mental health counselor at a time to begin with. So either way, I'm either going to contradict the process, or I'm going to contradict, or they're going to contradict themselves. But what's really taking place is, okay, parole got their money from me, and then probation can't make any more money from me because they too, and I mean, this isn't me wanting to destroy these people's lives, but they got paid for allegedly seeing me on records that they provided that I was never factually seen, meaning they committed fraud. And I'm not sure what the penalty is for committing medical fraud or mental health fraud, but mental health fraud should be, with regards to records, should be no different than medical fraud. And Grace, I don't know her last name. I do have her phone number, and out of respect for her, I'm not going to tell you her phone number over the phone, but Cask has her last name. So someone gets to continue to collect a check that made false records, and then they additionally intentionally misinterpreted me attempting to participate, or they intentionally misinterpreted something that I said when I was attempting to participate in what was taking place. And this took place during anger management before I got arrested for taking down the curtain with feces on it. So in that instance, and these are the things that you're not aware of, but Vincent was informed of them, as was Brian Burson, as has been everybody else that's allegedly represented me. But I'm in the anger management class, and you have to do your daily check-in. And from 1 to 10, how angry did you get this week, and why? And I said I reached a level 8 because I got called a nigger at work by a coworker, and I got fired. And I said it just like that. I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I wasn't calling anyone in the room. But there was an immediate attack on me for, instead of saying the N-word, because I repeated the full word. And first of all, we're not going to use that language in here, and then let alone in a group full of black people. Well, I was called it by a black person, and that person still has their job, and I got fired for repeating it, for saying, I'm a nigger because I need this to provide for a customer. And then I just immediately get hung up on by Karen, and I don't have her last name in front of me. Here, actually, it's Karen Ragazzo. And they additionally refused all further communication following just immediately hanging up on me for simply stating the word. And if we can't have open communications in classes that I'm being mandated to go to, and then they just immediately disregard me because, I repeat something that they've said no less than 1,000 times, probably, some of them. I know that I've been called that no less than 1,000 times, and I'm still getting I got called a nigger and a faggot, actually, in the probation office. And Sabrina took no action to that occurring either. And I've got that on camera as well. And that occurred due to me simply looking at someone, not in any intimidating fashion. Just, someone enters the room, you pay attention to what's going on, I get called a nigger and a faggot. Melva at the probation office has stated that she has clearly observed that I am being blackballed. That's a pretty important fact when it's someone that works in the office, and I think a judge should hear that. I'm just going through my points here. It needs to be notated, so immediately following Vincent's battery, so we've got that in the probation report. Initially, Sabrina stated to me that she wasn't worried about that. She's not going to say anything about that, blah, 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 blah. And she actually knew about this at the last court hearing. And she might have even known about it 2 court hearings ago, because the day that happened, I waited for 5 hours for police outside of 850 Bryant, who never showed up. And then I also immediately informed both Agent Masbar, and I also informed, I believe, the second in command. He's a Hispanic male at the probation office, and had a good conversation with him, but also shared some of these concerns from the females at the probation office that have no concern with regards to just completely screwing my life off, and then acting like I've made absolutely zero effort. Sabrina has been in her position for 12 years, and she sent me to 2 locations for alleged mental health services that don't even provide mental health services. This is her profession. And you have a single place that I'm allowed to go to that just so happens to be affiliated with the probation office, and they get to write false records and profit off of me being put in a cell for 24 hours per day. And I get that it's not a big deal to you, but they're next to putting me into a position to be murdered and sexually assaulted again without cause. And even to face that on a piece of paper, to read that and read these continued allegations that I'm going to have a family member post for me when I send them the report after I finish this call with you. And it's just, it's disgusting. I've had absolutely zero contact from those agencies following already spending 7 hours on it. Now, I've completed my anger management classes, but that doesn't mean I have the energy to be sent in circles. Call this number, 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 call this number. I've already done that for 7 hours, which is actually equivalent, not including the time to go visit the places that don't even offer mental health services that Sabrina sent me to. It's equivalent to the total number of times I would have been seen anyways. Like, I've spent the equivalent amount of time as I would have if I was in active counseling, but I'm not getting any call back from their agencies, and then they want to say, just lock me up. And then they want to send me to places that don't even offer mental health services, and I'm not in the financial capacity to pay for them myself. And then we've also got I've been told by Agent Tebwin that I've completed any counseling needed with Agent Sanders, and now they want to change the narrative. I get that it's parole and probation, but we definitely need to get that letter, and I've been asking for that letter for 6 months, and it still hasn't been provided. I've been completely ignored by Agent Sanders at parole. I'm just going to notate the hypocrisy again. I informed Sabrina of Vincent's battery long before this report was written, and it was not in previous updates, and now she wants to include it. That's a very biased of action. And I had filed a police report previously, and I had told her that I had filed a police report, and she made no mention of me filing the police report until Vincent filed his police report more than a month later. Just going to notate again, being called a nigger and a faggot, and Sabrina taking no action in the probation office, taking place on film without cause. I'm going to ask you what is your strategy? I'm not sure if I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. I'm not sure if your strategy is to play nice, but again, they want to put me in a cell for 24 hours a day, and I've probably walked past no less than 100 people smoking crack outside today. I am working. I am paying my own way. I'm still getting called a faggot outside my window here because I have a neighbor that's a hoarder, and not to notate the hoarding perspective with regards to who's screaming outside my window. I hop around a lot, Alex, because it's a lot to manage, and I don't necessarily mind that this person is a hoarder, but when she's blatantly not sanitary, they're causing the cockroaches to climb up my walls, and then they don't have the common respect to either send a text or phone call. So anytime they need to reach this person, they have to yell for them outside my window. And this is someone that previously called me a faggot. So I get to continually hear that, as well as hearing, "Fuck you, motherfucker," for absolutely no reason at all, when I want to get a basic standard of sleep during normal hours. And they're living off of Section 8 checks, and I'm paying my own way. And I haven't had problems with many people in this building other than the unsanitary conditions, but the landlord the property manager gives me the phone yesterday while speaking with the property manager that while I've been making record of things that have been going on since I've moved in here, water taking 30 minutes to get hot, people storing a set of drums in the hallway. You can't have a double standard of conditions of it's okay for one person to do these things and not okay for another person to do these things. And then additionally, someone bringing up past instances of places where I've lived, Chicago and Atlanta, where I've been sexually assaulted at my place of work. And it's great that I'm no longer working with that person, but it was still a very intentional triggering. And I'm not questioning the intentional triggering taking place by the people screaming outside my window, because when addressing the incident with the property manager yesterday, the daughter gets involved. That's the other tape that I got posted that I sent you. And the immediate response is, you cause problems with everybody, because I want to get sleep at 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. without hearing someone call for someone else outside my window. That's a blatant nuisance, and they're getting free rent. Do you understand the capacity of stress that is being managed? I'm not saying I'm about to snap to any capacity. I'm just saying the totality of all circumstances, while being told to be the one that's the problem, when I let people get sleep when it's time to sleep. And I'm also not going to forget getting a ticket in college, a noise complaint for like $500 for excessive noise at 9:30 at night. And I can't get sleep as an adult at 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. And additionally, I'm the first one that calls to report a snapped power line that's in the middle of the street, still alive and actively could kill somebody. And the person that gets no sleep, I don't need to be a hero. I don't need the world to revolve around me to any capacity, but when I sincerely am in fear for my life due to people just, want to write whatever the fuck they want to on a piece of paper, but having complete disregard for how they're affecting me. We've got the tape of Vincent pushing the phone out of my hand or hitting my hand, whatever you want to put it as. But either way, he committed a crime. If I cannot go commit that same action, then he committed a crime. And it's this continuous double standard that I'm expected to follow while never given the same capacity of rights. And it doesn't have to do with being on probation or parole, because even if I'm not on probation or parole, I'm still being forced a double standard to endure a double standard of law. But I'm not famous, so it doesn't matter. Going through the rest of my notes. Just going to state again, that other person in the probation office, Melva, also stating that she had observed that I was being blackballed. So we've got the false records, we've got getting blackballed, we've got the letter from parole needed, we've got no contact from probation since first December visit. We've got 7 hours spent attempting to pursue mental health services that I've also got video evidence of that I had family post for me. I can send you that video also. And I think that these are things that the judge really needs to review, and we don't need to necessarily waste people's time in the courtroom. But if they're going to pursue locking me in a box for 24 hours a day, and I've got a job that I've maintained since September, maintained my rent, probably been a pretty substantial financial impact to San Francisco, and I'm still being forced to live in conditions that I would never find acceptable because I get denied housing that would be appropriate for my normal standard of living. Can't get a job due to what's on the internet about me, and everyone gets to say whatever they want to about me, but there's never enough time to actually hear anything that has happened, and I've never, I've never once committed an act remotely close to ones that have been committed against me, and I'm the one that needs to be locked up. It's not making sense unless I'm being exploited, and that I think sums it up quite well. I don't know who's doing what, but I definitely know that this is not justice, and I know that I don't know. It's pretty insane. And this is how I get to start off my new year, with someone threatening my life with incarceration. And there's still zero accountability for a chokehold of 35 minutes. And it's not that I always want to be the victim either. I would actually just prefer to have somewhat of a normal life. But things aren't making sense. I witnessed a woman I don't want you to notate where I've been working, but I witnessed a woman have cash. Well, I actually didn't witness that, but I had 2 separate employees mention it to me, witnessing a woman have cash thrown in her face, drinking on the job, just not things that I'm really worried about, but just the fact of these people going after my employment and making comments such as, I didn't like someone, so I just stopped talking to her until she quit. These are the people that are actually causing the problems in society, and I'm not the one that's letting thousands of dollars walk out the door, and I'm still being forced to live in poverty through further false testimony. So there's my rant. I don't know what to do. So I don't know what to do other than to try to tell other people what's been going on, and I still use the bad words. Part of it's a coping mechanism, and I mean, not gonna lie, they piss me off, and I can't think anyone can disregard ever calling other people names or saying bad words. But even being at City Hall the other day, are you aware of what occurred there? Did you follow up on that email at all? Did you? I'm not blaming you if you haven't. I'm just asking. Alexander?
Yeah, Shane, since you're recording, I'm only going to be listening.
Okay. So, I was at City Hall. I talked to Daniel Souter for a few minutes. I was waiting in line. I was there for probably about 2 hours. I'm on camera the entire time I'm there. And get a bagel and some donuts, got a coffee mug, and was waiting in line to shake hands and congratulate Leary, and like no less than 10 cops approached me and made me get out of line. And just imagine if I had responded the wrong way in that incident, and how they would have loved to include that on this probation report, an attempt to send me to prison. And those are the types of incidents that I'm talking about with intentional triggering outside of, I was not initially disrespectful to the people screaming outside my window. I said, hey, I need to get some sleep, and I've got that on tape as well. But there's 4 months, there's 3 months of me being respectful, and there's a month of me not having any more energy for it. And that doesn't mean I'm going to hurt somebody. That just means I'm not going to be nice anymore. And they're saying fuck you to me every day. They're calling me a faggot. That doesn't mean I cannot control my temper. But these people get a free place to live, and they don't even live in the building, and I'm being expected to accept that. Meanwhile, I'm getting charged with a hate crime for calling someone a faggot, and I'm gay. You know, it's not making a whole lot of sense. And back to the double standard. So I went ahead. One of the girls at my previous job, I still got 2 jobs, but at a previous job had actually informed me of herself being preyed on by a Catholic priest as well. I went ahead and went to, I forget what church it is in North Beach, and talked to a priest because I had a former priest that's also a police officer offer $500 to suck me off following my car getting totaled. And we keep seeing all these settlements on the news for those kinds of things, and I'm just noticing the fraud for what it is, and I think most everyone else is as well. I'm not claiming perfection in the matters, but they have no problem continuing their fraud while still taking part in acts that I've never remotely close come to partaking in, and still having complete disregard for others' well-being. Them, not me. So we'll need to know what your strategy is, and I will I'll call that number in the morning. But again, I'm not sure if you're wanting to play nice or not. And again, I'm not blaming you for that, but when they want to completely throw my life in the garbage, we need to come back pretty aggressively ourselves, because they have not done their job correctly to any capacity when previous visits I've witnessed people overdosing on their doorsteps, and they're getting a job, and most of them don't even live in the city. So they get to come here, not even being residents of San Francisco, send us off to prison, and keep rolling us through the carousel. It's pretty disgusting. And Sabrina, at our last meeting, doesn't think that it matters that she doesn't live in San Francisco. And the reason it does matter with regards to these officers living in the city is because in most instances, such as New York, or in most cities, firefighters and different state agencies have to live in the districts that they are serving. Otherwise, they don't give a shit about what happens, and they get to continue to fuck off other people's lives while profiting off of it, and without having to live in the conditions themselves. So that's outside of, it could have possibly been acceptable, but it became unacceptable when they decided to write false records with regards to me being seen, and it also becomes unacceptable when I'm witnessing people overdose on their doorsteps. It becomes unacceptable when I'm getting called a faggot and a nigger at their offices without cause that's on camera. It also becomes unacceptable when I'm being informed by their staff that they see that I'm being blackballed and being treated differently than other people on probation. With regards to the Vincent incidents, I know you've got the tapes. I think you've got the tapes. In the instance that it says that he was outside of his house, I was walking to the grocery store, and I live 2 blocks from that address. So me stalking him and them to additionally ask for a restraining order is absolutely unnecessary. I additionally attempted to handle the situation respectfully with Vince, asking for $140, and included you on that communication. I understand it is not your responsibility from a legal perspective to serve me in that matter, but you have to get involved to some capacity when it then becomes put on a probation report attempting to lock me in a box. So I don't know what's going to happen on Friday. I don't know if I'm going to get to show my asshole to some predatorial pig again. I don't know if I'm going to be going to prison. I don't know what's going to be happening. But I definitely don't feel safe. And it's not a matter of me not, let me be very clear, it's not a matter of me not feeling safe due to my mental health or how I'm doing or anything like that. It's me not feeling safe due to the actions that the system is continuing to implement. I think that's it. Not that that wasn't a lot. But I'm going to... I'll wait for your email. I'm going to contact Daniel Leary and Souter and let them know about court on Friday as well. Not that I expect them to attend, but who knows? My family's going to be there, and yep. I will wait for your response for what your strategy is going to be. Sound good, Alexander?
Sounds good, Shane.
And how, based off of the information that I shared, how long do you think it will take to get some answers? Not trying to be pushy to any capacity. I know that
I'll give you working right now. Yeah, my answer is not going to be that long.
Cool. And we had also continued to, I thought we had continued to request to get this moved before the judge that had sentenced me himself. So, if that still hasn't happened, then to ask for me to be reprimanded into custody, I would hope that we have some good arguments that I not be. Won't make you say anything else, I guess. I'll just look for your response, but I hope that it addresses those concerns sincerely, and then I'll go ahead and provide you a link of these concerns. That way we can, if you want to, send them to the judge and send them to Michael Hartman, and share with him what's going on. I'm not claiming perfection to not having emotions, but there's been absolutely no pursuit from them to assist, while also providing false records, which is a crime. All right. I guess I'll call you back if I need to. Sorry, not trying to make you say anything, Alexander. Appreciate the 40 minutes you gave me tonight of your time.